and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's preview, Sharks versus Griquas tomorrow as the Sharks make their first appearance of the competition and the Griquas look to bounce back from their loss against the Cheetahs over the weekend. The Griquas have gone with an unchanged 23 and the Sharks go with a 23, which is very indicative of the type of 23 we'll probably see this weekend in the URC, because the balancing act has officially started in terms of how to try and assign players towards two fronts, really, with a Currie Cup action on a Wednesday, URC action on a Saturday, and not too much time in between. So quite a few big decisions to have to be made by the side from Durban. And we will be live for all these games, so you can catch us tomorrow throughout the day. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Turn your notifications as well. Then you get a little notification as soon as we do go live, so you don't miss any of our watch-alongs. And of course, we'll obviously be back this weekend as well for the URC. Before we look at the two sides and some of the interesting picks, especially in the Shark side, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. In terms of the sides, this is how they will line up. We'll start with the Sharks 15. There's a couple of quite pretty big names in there, the likes of Thembelani Boli. They'll be captained by Marius Lowe at inside centre, and notably Edwin Cater will be making his Sharks debut up against his former side down in Durban. So if we look at it, 1 through 15, Quasimodo, Dan Jooste, and Lawrence R. Johnson is the front row. Quasimodo, probably the youngster between those the two. Him and Jan Jooste are still quite young, and then Lawrence R. Johnson bringing on all the experience. Brand Kwabla and Emil van Heerden will pack down in the second row. Kwabla's been quite impressive since coming back into the sort of the setup there down South Africa. And then Thembelani Boli is joined by debutant OJ Noah and Mpilo Gomede, who shifts to number 8. You often see him on the flank, but he's a very physical player. So a lot of good ball carriers in the likes of Boli and Gomede. Cameron Wright partners Jordan Chait at fly half. And then the rest of the backline, Edwin Cater, Yao Pentway, and Anthony Folmink will bring a lot of pace to the game in that sort of outside backs positioning. And then Marius Lowe is joined by the former 7-star Werner Koch, who has pretty successfully, in my opinion, made that transition to outside centre, where I think he's far more effective than on the wing. Brings a lot of physicality in the defence. Off the bench, Jason Alexander, Dejan Bleuler, Viren Herbst, then Corne Roll, Josh Moons, then Nahamba, Murray Costa, and Mars Porkita complete the bench. Quite a lot of experience within the backline replacements, quite a few debutants within the forward replacements. I think somebody like Sanea Nahamba needs to start taking these opportunities and really getting himself back onto the fast track, because there are an obscene amount of scrum halves at the Sharks. And, you really need to start sort of putting your hand up if you want to try and sort of get to the top. And I think that the fact that 3 of them have all been involved in the Springbok setup, with Jaden Henderson actually having made his debut, sort of shows you the quality they have. However, there's always going to be a pecking order, and it's going to be a pretty big fight between all the scrum halves to see who manages to sort of remain in the sort of the top sort of 2 in that URC team. For the Griquas, they are unchanged from the weekend, which means in the front row, Eddie Davids, Elandra van Rooyen, and Jana Boertel will pack down with Mzwala Zito and Derek Pretorius behind them. I thought Zito was very good this past weekend, brings a lot of physicality, and sort of likes to sort of impose himself on the game. The loose chair is Neil Otter, Siba Kroma, and Ruan Steenkamp. Ruan Steenkamp is one of those players who he leads from the front. He's a very physical player. He's a very hard worker. He's quite a quiet captain, not necessarily the loudest on the park, but he definitely sort of leads by example in terms of the way he plays. Stefan Unger is probably the most important player in this Griquas side in terms of managing the game, in terms of being able to tactically try and nullify certain threats to the opposition and try and put Griquas into the right positions on the park where they want to play in terms of territory, and trying to sort of keep that pressure up on the position. He's partnered by Xander Du Plessis. Luther Owie made a very successful debut after making his move from the Pumas. And then there's Rana Jonker, Christopher Hollis, Munia Hotzenberg, and Ashlon Davids. And Ashlon Davids proved to be quite a handful at that number 15 position. Off the bench, Janko Ace, Kutzwai Dube, Justin Forfeit will be the front row replacements. Johan Retief, Michael Amiras, Regan Oranje, Theo Boschhoff, and Sengok Kamlashe complete the rest of the bench. I think the biggest thing for the Griquas is not too much time to prepare for this game, in terms of you think you're playing on Saturday, you have a day off on Sunday, and you can't train too hard Monday, Tuesday before a full game on Wednesday. So this is where sort of, people's conditioning, people's sort of preparation in terms of coming into the season really comes into play, with regards to can they sort of keep up with, for like the likes of the Griquas, the Chiefs, and the Pumas, what's not necessarily week in, week out rugby, but often a lot of rugby in a short space of time, compared to sort of the Sharks, who've got more of a balancing act in terms of who to play, who to send up to URC, and who to have in the Currie Cup. So in theory, you're obviously going to bank the Sharks. Quite a lot of big players there, but never write off this Griquas side. I think the fact that it's in Durham will play obviously into the Sharks' hands, and will probably make them a little bit too sort of good. So I am going to predict a Sharks victory, probably I think by about 10, maybe 10 to sort of 15. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know if you have any score predictions. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.